Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spitfire, Season 2, Episode 18, the longest running and best Call of Duty podcast. Let's be honest, if you're here, you have good taste. But my name is Brice. Joining me, of course, for this one is going to be Brice Tunn doing his production stuff. And hopefully, if you're listening on Spotify, he has fixed his microphone.
It'll be fine.
Has he still not done that?
Oh, mate, honestly,
it's been
every
an
week,
ongoing battle. It has to be said.
It was me to begin with, and then it's been Tunn ever since. Ever since we moved to this system, Tunn has been messing around with his microphone and all kinds of crap, and he's messed it up. But more importantly, our guest for this week, joining us first of all, B Sport Josh. Josh, how are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Love that, of course. And joining him, of course, Stephen, better known as Vortex. To the rest of us, how are you, my friend?
I'm not bad as well. Looking forward to doing this. Tunn's finally invited us.
Right.
Oh.
I invite him nearly every week, and he's always like, honestly, I swear to God, I sit in a Discord call with him every day of the week. Every Wednesday I've asked him, oh, no, I'm out, no. Every time. Hide me off anyway. Stop changing your background. Anybody who's listening via podcast, Brice, you haven't watched the YouTube video, Brice somehow found like a green screen function and keeps changing his background. Why is there a fighter jet behind you?
Because we're getting this one off to a flying start. Anyway, let's get on to the first topic. The CDL, the Call of Duty League, has finally revealed its branding and its name. We can stop calling it the Franchise League. We've called it the CDL. We've called it all kinds of different things. It was literally announced today. Let's get our kind of first initial thoughts on it. Tunn, you can kick this one off because we were talking about it beforehand.
I mean, there's not really too much to talk about other than the fact that it's confirming it is called the CDL. That's what we were sort of waiting on, wasn't it? Everyone sort of had an inkling that that's what it was going to be called. I'm more so concerned about the fact that they leaked the team names to the website's code. It's a bit like, that's a bit of an oversight. Surely they know somebody would have tried that shit. Somebody tried that shit and found out all the names of the teams. I mean, at this point, that has to be official if it's through Activision's website, doesn't it? I mean, there's no two ways about it. But yeah. CDL announced, no surprises at all. I was hoping for a bit more. I'll be honest.
The logo's boring. There's nothing.
The logo's basically a copy and paste of E-League.
It's like the three lines.
It's three
logo,
things, but they've just put the different lines like in different places.
Yeah, it's a safe logo. It's a safe logo, and that's kind of what I expected. I didn't expect anything massive. I kind of like the old logo, but it was obviously a lot more going on in it, so maybe that's why they simplified it. That's the only thing I can kind of think.
They had
of.
the globe, didn't it? And they've took World out of the league, out of the name this year, so that wouldn't work.
Yeah,
simple.
it's just the Call of Duty League, not the Call of Duty World League, or what was the other name for it? There's another name that kept flying about, and I can't remember what it was.
Nothing.
What was the name?
Only ever CDL. That's the only one I've ever.
That's the only one I've heard.
I definitely heard something else, and I don't really remember what that was.
I actually don't mind the logo though. In all fairness,
It's just simple.
It's simple. I think it looks all right.
It's just a means to an end, right? It's just they have to rebrand it for this. It's simple. It'll go at the bottom of loads of things, and we'll never really bother with it.
I like that the writing's bigger because obviously people that don't know what it is, like new viewers, and see straight away. You know what I mean? Where the other one, the writing was quite small.
They've tweeted an article explaining the logo, by the way. I don't know what's to explain
Yeah,
about it.
apparently I was just reading that. If you go on that COD Game Pedia's tweet, apparently the second level of the logo represents the league's amateur system.
Ooh,
Oh,
would
okay.
love to know about that.
Pros, AMs, and community. Community, amateur, and professional, yeah. All right, that's interesting. It's interesting. It represents those three. Well, we haven't heard anything about the last two levels yet. We only know about the pro level.
They literally tweeted that.
The other things they put about it, 12 teams, which we knew. Prize pool hasn't gone out. It's 6 million again. Which, to be fair, right?
That's more than before, is it now?
I thought it was, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like 2 million, but like I think the last year's like whole prize pool, like everything was like 3 or 4 million, was it now?
It might have been.
I thought it was 6 across. Am I wrong?
I
Remember there being like champs was like 2 mil prize pool.
I think 5. I think it was 5 million.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Funny enough, I literally as we say that, I've just seen the PR come out with it. The logo is explained here, and it is exactly what they've said. Yeah, it's saying it represents the 3 elements.
There's a dog in the room.
That's fine. We love dogs.
Oh, get out! Come here.
So the first level obviously is pro players. The second level of the logo represents the league's amateur system, where aspiring players who seek to go pro can compete for dedicated prize pools. The amateur system will resemble the professional system's gameplay and will feature both online and LAN open bracket events throughout the year. So there will be
That's
open
me and
bracket
you,
events.
Bricey.
Mate, one thing they've done is definitely...
That's everyone in this call. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, they're definitely getting rid of us. Jesus. And the third and foundational level represents the Call of Duty League fan community, whose incredible passion for the game and desire to connect and compete in dynamic ways makes the Call of Duty League experience truly unique. It launches in 2020, which is what we knew. We knew it was a January launch. We do kind of hope for like an exhibition event before then. I think a lot of people are waiting for that, hopefully. Speaking of dogs, mine's going berserk in the background. Apparently, it's going to feature fresh ways for pro players, amateurs, and fans to come together. I imagine the system won't be massively different from last year, with a big league, a few open brackets, but more of the players traveling to different things here. Because we know the Columbus thing's gone. But there was
Thank
nothing.
God for that, man.
Yeah. There was nothing groundbreaking in the announcement.
No.
I don't think. The new logo,
That's what everyone expects, really.
Yeah. It does. The more now you've said it, I can't stop seeing E-League's logo.
Yep.
I think the thing is, though, is they're saving everything for one big dump, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying that,
happens,
they're not just going to announce it on Twitter, but I'd say that PlayStation announced PlayStation 5 literally with a tweet. So, I mean, companies...
normally know everything by now,
a
though.
Big event. Well, I know,
it
but the
has been
season's
delayed.
not...
It has been delayed. But that was something I was going to bring up. He brings up a very good point. We've known a lot more about COD for the next year.
Yeah, but the season's not starting until January. It says 2020. So.
Is that, yeah, but like, how are ARM supposed to know what they're doing? Like, do I make a team now? Do I wait for the game to come out?
You think they give a fuck?
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry to break your heart, mate.
That's fair enough. Just before we move on, there is one tiny little bit of news I want to cover at the top of it. Just because it's just something that I saw. The PC version of Modern Warfare. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
175 gig.
175?
175 gig for
That's
the
more
PC.
than most people fucking have in the computer. I don't understand what, like...
That's quite big. That's bizarre. But
So,
I downloaded Gears of War on PC and that was 50, and I thought
yeah,
that
I
was
think
large.
most games like that.
Yeah, it's,
Okay,
like, it's
that's
usually
the
50,
average.
60, isn't it? Like that's
Yeah.
usually bang on.
I've never downloaded one over 100. I think I've had a 90. I think
Jesus.
GTA is probably the biggest.
Like 80, isn't it?
Yeah, it's somewhere up there. But
I understand
175 gig.
I mean,
Don't understand it.
for me, that it's bad for people who don't have very good internet, but most people nowadays will be able to download that within, like, I would say. So
Yeah, but that's still a long time to download.
it's still a long time, but if anything, I think it's a positive in the aspect of that the game is full of shit. At least, you know, this is all like graphics, this is all like campaign levels, that sort of thing.
You
would
say that
think.
it could just be really badly optimized.
Yeah, it could be that
Fuck
too.
it, just download it, you bastard. I think the interesting thing for me there, well, first of all, they're actually building a fiber network literally 50 yards away from where I am. I'm gonna go hand them the size of the Modern Warfare version and tell them to hurry up and get that pipe to my house. Because at the moment it's gonna take me like 2 days. But it is big. It is big. It makes me think the console version's got to be 75, 90. Easy.
What's this year's? I'm gonna have a look.
Have a look. Have a look. I want to say it's about 4.
It's not.
No, it's
like,
bigger than that.
fucking-
It's bigger than that.
What, on
This
console?
year's?
Yeah,
Have a look. Applications.
it is big.
It's not even loading yet. There we go. Right. 93.
93. See, I told you it was big.
All right, okay.
I told you it was big. So
That'll be with the
basically-
that'll be with the updates as well, though, will it not?
Yeah. So basically, as soon as you get your DLC for Modern Warfare on your PC, consider a 250 gigs SSD gone. just wipe it. I've got 4 of those in my PC, and obviously one of those is going to have to be taken up by Call of Duty, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. I do want to try it on PC. Has to be said. I will be giving it a go, especially if there's...
It's a lot better.
I didn't even touch on the... I just didn't. I didn't have a chance, and I didn't have another. I could have got one, but
Parasite that said it's like a different game.
Like,
It's
He's
PC
good
though.
at PC games, though, isn't he?
But it's PC though. PC games are always typically
always
like,
better.
brand nicer. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just how it is. I think the announcement
Well,
that
it-
they were
it-
putting
it-
on PlayStation 4 wasn't
Yeah.
a surprise. I expected that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens if the PC actually really strong this year.
I don't even know if I should say this, but we'll find out if I get fired. I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't.
Is this some of the conversations we've had otherwise?
Well, this is not. So this is nothing official. This is just me guessing. Yeah. There is obviously aim assist if you plug a controller into a PC version.
You reckon I'm gonna let you use it?
And obviously the PS4 partnership is very, very important, but we all know that the PC would probably be a better infrastructure for esports. You can do more with any PC game than you can with a console. The console's a very closed system. It always has been. So I'm curious whether or not, what will happen. I mean, don't get me wrong, it could be it could definitely be mobile going forward as well, you don't know.
No, but I think it's not out of the question that in future years they change it to PC, but with control.
When does the Sony partnership run out?
Was it not this year?
I actually think it ran out. I think this is the new partnership.
Yeah, I think so too, because it was like 3 years or something, wasn't it? Or 4 maybe.
Which is why there's like it's like PS4 has its own game mode and stuff, because I think DLC comes the same time this year, but they get their own game mode or something. It's different to what it was in previous years, which is why I think they had to put out that it was on PS4 solely this year. So that was curious to kind of see how that one worked out. But let's move on here, because so these are, and I will state this very, very clearly. These are leaked names, and they have not been confirmed officially. They came out from, I believe, code on the website. And these are the names that I've just basically taken off Reddit. The London Royal Ravens, which we kind of have heard before. We heard the London Ravens, the Chicago Huntsmen, Seattle Surge, kind of sounds like a drink. The Dallas Empire.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Is that the same as Overwatch or not?
No, Dallas is Fuel. Dallas Fuel.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I actually quite like Dallas Fuel. Optic Los Angeles, because so basically, as far as I can tell, like they're the only one that switched it round, because it's not Los Angeles Optic, it's Optic Los Angeles.
How come they can have their names but other orgs can't?
So we did this. When did we talk about this? Like 2 months ago. As far as we can tell, so the way the franchise works, for anybody who hasn't heard this before, is the franchise names and things are part of the league. It's a full-in system. So Activision has part of these orgs as well. It's like they're part of all of this. So you can't have a brand that is in part control of them and then out of their control outside of it. So the brand has to be completely Call of Duty, which makes sense when you realize what Optic have done, and they've gone into Immortals, and the Immortals have trimmed all this other shit off, and they go, right, COD, fine. Doesn't make sense when we get further down this list, though, and I don't understand one of these surprises that has come out, and we'll get to it.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah. Toronto Ultra. You know what?
I
like it.
I
do like it.
I like it. For some reason, when I first thought saw it, I didn't like it, and now I've actually it's grown on me. Toronto Ultra seems pretty good. I don't know if their fans are going to be called the Ultras, because that hasn't got the greatest reputation in Europe.
That's right.
I don't know if they knew that.
That's what I think of straight away, mate, when I hear that.
Yeah. So the Ultras in Europe, not a great reputation, as far as I remember. Oh, as far as I'm aware, anyway. Not a great reputation with me, if it's just me. The Los Angeles Gorillas.
I feel like that's just a troll name, to be honest, yeah.
Gorillas.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Well, what the fuck are they going to be called? You're not going to, what's the nickname going to be for them? Because I ain't calling them the Gorillas.
That's what they're called. Although, yeah, I
That's
don't know.
what you call them. You would call them the Gorillas. You wouldn't call them Los Angeles, because it's
fairness,
Los Angeles.
it is LAG, so you could call them Lag, which I don't hate now that I've seen it.
Well, to be fair, you could call them LA, because everyone's going to call Optic LA Optic. So
yeah,
might get away
but
with
they'll end up calling them the Gorilla. They'll get called that on broadcast, so then everybody else will call them that.
We'll just make it up. Screw it. Basically, whatever the casters start calling them, that's going to be their brand. New York Subliners.
Don't know if I like that, though. It doesn't really roll.
I don't even know what it is.
Well,
I googled it. Isn't it to do with the subway system?
Well, yeah, it'd be to do with the subway.
But it's like, what's it got to do with COD, like? Or I mean,
It's got more to do with
a big
New
part of
York,
New York, but
Well, I mean, to be fair, London's
Like-
using Mind the Gap, which is the tube system.
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, like whereas you got your gorillas, like you could fucking
Uh,
run around and fucking shitting everyone, but like what you're gonna get on the subway and kill everyone on COD, like it's nothing to do with anything. Like
I know. I just don't think it flows nicely. The New York subliners, like, I don't know. I don't like that. I think I would say that's probably my least favorite.
Yeah, I think that one. Is struggles to hit. Maybe if you're in New York, it hits different, because the subway's probably a big part of life out there. But that's pretty. Atlanta phase, only one. It seems to have come out of the blue here. Nobody thought phase had a spot, and this doesn't make sense for so many reasons. So many reasons, and I don't know because nothing's been confirmed by phase as far as I can tell. Right? FaZe have let go the majority of their team by the look of it. They've let go all of their players.
Suppose they've got a good team now.
Unless it's just like a partnership in cahoots with them or something like that.
Yeah, but even if you're in a partnership, you had a good core of players. You would keep them.
I mean,
okay, Mark's made a fair point there, saying New York had 170 different that are already trademarked.
Ah, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, I suppose if there's not much to choose from.
To be fair though, with that phase thing, like the players, like when you get offered to pick up that team, what they're supposedly getting, like you're probably going to release the players you had. Well, I would be anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. And then the Paris Legion.
I don't mind that. I don't mind it. I think it's okay.
I don't mind it because it reminds me of the French Foreign Legion, which
that's
is
probably where they've.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a terrible name. The Florida. The Florida Mutineers, which it's just probably it's a pirate theme. I don't hate it.
Which
depends how you look at it.
Which is the best?
We haven't finished. We got one more. We got Minnesota. I want to say Minnesota Rocker. Apparently, so I had to Google this earlier. Apparently, it's Norse, and somebody else says it means night in Norse.
Night as in like a night of the realm, or
as in like midnight or like the twilight or whatever. It's one of those meanings, and I have to go and double check exactly what I was told earlier. I don't mind it for two reasons. One, I think it's very clever how they've tied it back into the Minnesota owners, which are the Vikings, and it is different. It is very, very different. Like out of all of these, that steps out aside from everybody else. Although I still don't know if I'm saying it correct. I'm not 100% sure on the meaning.
Yeah, it's like
I mean,
not complicated, but
you made the Vikings sort of thing, like crossover. That's where.
Yeah. So what are we thinking? What's the best? What's the worst?
I'll go with Dallas. Like Dallas Empire.
Dallas Empire's good. I think if you're talking from a pure like Call of Duty side, I mean, Optic have won, but that's just because they're called Optic, so they're automatically probably going to keep some fans, whatever ones they've got left. But you would say Optic's probably got the best 110. In terms of my favorite, I think
in
I'd
terms
probably
of
Dallas
just the
as
name,
well.
just what sounds the best.
Seattle's good as well.
All of them are gonna grow. Like I think literally every new team name always sounds shit, and then it grows on you. Remember when we first when I was inspired?
I don't mind Chicago Huntsman. Me, I don't know why.
Huntsman.
I don't mind that.
Every team name gets better over time.
Just get used to it.
And the Royal Ravens does sound better than just Ravens. So I reckon.
I don't know if it does. I can't decide.
Ravens.
Nah, it's too much. I think it might be too much.
I agree.
Maybe.
I think Ravens would have been better.
Yeah, I think that, I don't think they might. Well, I don't know why. But
Call
I
them the
assume they
Ravens.
added it. Yeah, or like the London Ravens. I don't know if they added it because people assumed it was going to be the London Ravens and wanted to make it like a bit different than the people expected. But I don't know.
Dallas one's pretty sick as well.
I do like the Dallas one.
Not keen on the Seattle one.
We got Zach being very biased towards Paris Legion.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, I don't.
When casters are gonna have to say London Royal Ravens, I just want to say just London Ravens.
No, they'll just call
say
it
the Ravens.
I will flat out just call them Ravens if I'm doing any sort of commentary.
Yeah. And that's how Tunn gets fired. Here's the thing, though, right? About all these brands. So whatever opinion people have on brands and whatever, you have to bear in mind that these names don't actually matter in the long term. A brand genuinely isn't built until the brand is built. Like, if Paris Legion start winning loads of shit and they become famous 10 years down the line, these names will just be the brand here, like the LA Lakers, right? When you first see that name, if one of these was called the Los Angeles Lakers, you'd be like, I don't know if I like that name or whatever. But now, massive brand, huge brand going forward.
Yeah, the success plays a lot in it, really.
So,
Marky B.
it is that. Marky B is always salty with me. I don't even know why. But it's one of these things. Like, I'm very curious. I mean, admittedly, the fact that this all got leaked.
It's pretty bad, really.
Yeah, I would have liked to see a whole proper announcement, but I think they might do it sooner rather than later. Now that it's been
like people are doing like the launch parties, and it's like I assume they wanted to save it for that, and then not.
Oh, they'd be big mad. But yeah, actually, that's a fair point. I think the franchises would be pretty pissed off about that.
Oh, I would be. Getting paid 25 million, you can't even keep my team name under the wrap.
Probably not be too happy.
Yeah, it's true. Shockwave's just pointing out something. The Sovereign has to approve the use of Royal, so I don't know if they can be the Royal Ravens. I want to know. I am curious.
What,
you want me to look it up?
Oh, actually, you know what?
I
I've just Googled it. Some people need permission to use the word Royal in the United Kingdom.
But they haven't got that done. Actually, I'd assume. Well, I'd hope.
It depends where their base of operations is, though, doesn't it?
Well,
because if the base,
it's not. You know,
I know, but if you're based, if you're a company in fucking,
oh my god, my mic was muted. I've lost.
Sensational. Say you were based in like Morocco and you named yourself the Royal something or another. The Queen isn't gonna fly out of your country and get no. So it's only surely UK based companies, which the company that owns them is.
Well, yeah, but if they're going to be, is it not? That's true. It's true. I'm going to go with my other theory. I just want to sit here and think that Odie and Swizz, went and saw the Queen. Not a word.
Fuck off.
Big Swizz and Odie just rocking into the old royal house and just going, hey.
Only Swizz will be allowed in there.
He's cute. I didn't think of that, and that is actually something on here that says if it is registered by the citizens in the UK, you have to go to the Gov.uk website.
They must have done that though.
You'd think so, but there is a good point Tom made that maybe if they're not registered here, they can get away with it.
100%.
If they're going to have premises over,
Do they not have London in their name though?
They do, and I think they have to have some sort of facility over here. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'd love to know the answer.
Yeah, of course, they kind of have to because the league games are being played like.
Although I'd imagine that not all of theirs will. Well, it depends how it's been done.
Hope so.
Depends how it's been done.
Yeah, it's true. We'll have to find out.
Which we still don't know.
We'll have to find out. That is above my pay grade. Way above my pay grade to figure out the legal terms of using the word royal. But you know what? I think it's interesting to see these names coming down. But let's talk a little bit. We talk about Paris Legion. Because they did their announcement as well, right? And we didn't talk too much about it. They announced 7 players.
What had happened about 6 hours after?
Yeah, we stopped last week before it happened. They announced 7 players. They didn't confirm a 5-man roster like everybody else has done.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if the players already know or not. Whether
I think so.
Starting lining up this, or they're just gonna have to prove themselves on the game.
I don't even know if they've got actually their coaching staff or anything sorted. I generally think they've just got the players because apparently the GM who was sorted, or the person who sorted the roster is not even part of the actual franchise. But I don't even know what the fuck they're doing.
It's an interesting team. It's an interesting team put together.
I think everyone in that team is good, but I don't really know how fantastic.
Everyone in that team is.
Give us some info.
Zach, you need some info, boys. I'll try to hold off till next week. Zed, for God's sake, as much as we would like to say, give us all the intel, you don't have to do anything that's going to get you in trouble. For God's sake, my thoughts on that team are interesting. Okay, this is going to sound bad, but it's genuinely not bad. Just listen to it in full.
By the way, just to say, I'm supposed to have Zach on next week. So.
Okay. I think that team has gone a different route of not going for super expensive, like massive names,
Yeah.
and has gone down a slightly more money wise route.
I
Like,
know. Well,
I don't see any super maxes.
yeah. I know a little bit. Like players were talking to them, and players wanted X amount, and because they were like didn't want nothing to do with it, like how much they was asking for, that's why players have gone to other places. So I'm pretty sure they're on the cheap side.
But like, if they don't buy all the top players now, yeah, like, surely when they want to get better in the future, they're not going to be able to. They're going to
Probably
have
don't
to pay
want to,
so
mate.
much money in the future to get them players that they could have got this now.
Could be
There's
a
only
sleeper
so
team,
many
though.
of them, though.
Yeah, but the team's not exactly gonna fucking like. It's
No, I'm not saying
guaranteed
it's going to be
finish last.
shit. It's probably going to be good, but I mean, like, you know, when they want to make changes, like, I'm talking like years down the line, like, making it so much harder for themselves. Like, you know how, like,
It
I don't
goes for
follow it.
everyone.
I don't. Yeah, but most of them have signed like players that have been like at the top
Other
for
teams will
years.
probably want their players eventually. I'm gonna assume. Like,
Yeah,
and it'll just
possibly.
work well, right?
Yeah,
work both
you
ways.
you don't know how it's going to work. At the end of the day, not everybody will spend the same money, and that's just that's the same with anything else. You know, you have like football teams who situations they don't want to spend as much money as say like Man City want, etc. There is going to be teams who, irrelevant of how much money you have, you're just not going to have as on paper like as good a roster. Although I don't dislike that roster at all. I think it's a solid lineup of the players they've got. I don't know who the starting five is, but you know what I mean. It's not those big standout
Who am I
names like
forgetting
you
from
said.
that team again? It's got three Aussies, Zach, Phantoms,
Kismet,
Kismet.
Brezzy.
Ismet and Brezzy.
So that team is probably just going to be the three Aussies, Zach, and then Kismet or Buzzer.
I
think we're
feel
going that
like
route.
they're
One
going
or
to
10
have.
players.
I feel
Stick
like
on 10
they'll.
players.
Well, yeah, they might. I feel like they'll probably have Brezzy involved.
Yeah, no, that's something.
French.
It's him or I reckon it'll be him or Kismet, like that deciding person.
Just because he's
can't-
French, though, innit?
The three
I don't know.
Aussies should definitely be in the start. Like they're really good. Zach's obviously going to be in there. Well, you'd hope so. And then it's just down to whoever else.
Yeah, who is it? Phantoms, Brezzy, Kismet. Oh yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
Mine.
I'm slightly upset that they haven't gone for a full 10 and just gone and done something which I think could have been very interesting in regard
Especially if you're going
to
down the cheap route.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've got the salary budget to do it.
just get 10 and just go, you know what? Let's see you guys play first 2 months. We got time. They got nothing but time. Game comes out in what, 2 weeks, 2 and a bit weeks?
Yeah.
And they've got time to figure out who works well. Here's the problem though, we don't know if they've got coaching staff. This entire thing should have been overseen by a coaching staff. And that's where so many orgs have gone wrong.
I don't even know if the GM's actually locked in.
Yeah, they've
Some of the
done
most vital
as
things.
far as we're aware. They got help pick their team off somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
The rumor, I can say the rumor.
Well, we can say the rumor.
Lando. The rumor is Lando. It's on the Reddit. It's not. We're not breaking any news here. It's on the Reddit. And you know, we don't know how that conversation came about.
And it doesn't make much sense to me because, like, what kind of knowledge does you'd want someone? I don't know.
I
Maybe
argue he
don't
has
know.
he has the knowledge.
He has a decent,
not-
decent, but like you need to you should be knowing the ins of players realistically before when you're
Yeah.
making a roster. Like he knows stats. Like
I disagree with it anyway. I disagree with the
same.
guidance.
That doesn't make much sense to me.
This is covering old ground, but I said this last week. I fully believe if you're going to put a team together like that, you don't have one guy do it. You have a team. You have a GM and you have your coaches, and your coaches figure it out, and you do it by committee because have people that are going to be unobjective. You need people that have the knowledge, and you need to build it from that point and say this is how we're going to make this team work. And one person doing that isn't always going to have the best thing. Like I wouldn't trust myself fully to just sit there and create an entire team. I think I would do a good job, but whether that is a good job based on my own opinions and my own prejudice towards players, you know,
would you pick up 10 players straight off the bat?
I've spoken about it before. I think I would go for my stars first. I'd figure out my big gun franchise players. Then I would figure out, well, we need to slot more players in, and then I would look for subs.
2 or 3 big dogs.
Yeah, if it was me, I'd save 2 spaces for like people that play good at the start of the game because there's always people that come through at the start that just shock you. I mean,
I don't agree as well. Go on. Sorry.
It'd be harder to tell this year because it's just all amateur bracket from the start. So amateur players aren't going to get to show themselves against the pro players.
don't agree
Yeah.
with making a team without having the coaching staff, because the coaching staff's going to be the most important part. So someone's going to get thrown into that roster without like having any say into it.
How
Like,
much
you
you
have to
betting
deal with the
Whalers?
players that they've got.
Coach Whalers. Come on,
Coach Whalers.
bet you.
No one's even spoken about this either, right? Do you remember all the stuff people have been talking over the last 6 months, like nutritionists, fucking
I
fitness
swear
people?
Heretics already had that.
Yeah. People talking about all this stuff that they want to see bring in. You know, Minnesota Vikings, we saw their massive facility where they're going to have, you know, psychologists to help players, nutritionists for health and stuff. None of that's there at the moment. Like
Yeah.
none of it.
That we know about, to be fair.
You don't even have a basic coaching team, let alone the rest of this. Players have got to get used to it. You got to just go, right, by the way, first competitive game is in a week. Here's 6 people you don't know yet.
Heretics are the
That's what
only
I'm with it.
org that I've seen that have all of that, and they didn't. I think they got denied, didn't they? I think they actually tried to get a spot.
They got. It sounds like they got Paris.
Yeah,
But no, it wasn't for Paris. It was.
If they
it was
bump
for
it up,
London.
they bump
I think
it
was
up
for
next week.
London.
Zed's got some stories for me.
Next week.
I actually just feel bad for whatever coach gets thrown in there, because like you say, I think the
Nothing
coach,
they can do.
they're
Decisions
gonna
have
have to
been made.
deal with the players. They get given nothing wrong with the players, but like you'd want the coaching staff to like, who's gonna have an idea of how they want to run things, to like have some say on the players they're gonna play or deal with, and legit have no say.
Yeah.
I
It's not like
ranted about this
there'll be
last week. Right?
problems.
I ranted about this last week. You know, coaches and their staff and GMs all need to be a unit that is the team, and then you get your players, because players will come and go more often than your staff should do, unless your staff are really bad. And you should be able to go, right, well, who can we get in and build this brand around? So on and so forth. We're going over old stuff here. We're going over old stuff. But we'll see how that goes on. We don't know everything from the Paris camp. We'll find out more as it goes on. I'm sure there's millions of secrets we don't know, as well as, you know, stuff we can only kind of guess at this point. There is something else I wanted to cover that I didn't put in the topics, because I wasn't sure on how to cover this at the moment, because I can't tell if it's good or bad. Mesa Gaming put out a statement this week. Have any of you seen this statement about them being essentially an agency now?
I didn't read into it, but like I've seen the tweet, like they're signing players, but they're not putting out teams. They're going to loan the players or something. I don't even know. That's all I read.
So essentially, what we can do is they're basically adding became like an academy / agent / pimp. So basically, like you sign a contract with Mesa. They'll help you. Well, no, I don't think they do. They apparently give you resources. That's what they've used. They use the word resources. It's not as clear as I would like it to be. Apparently, their goal is to get you a franchise spot. So I imagine the return of investment for Mesa here is that these players will have to be bought out of these contracts.
That's setting yourself up to get trapped, mate. Like what?
This is the statement. I'll read the statement out just for the sake of
Go on.
people who are listening. First of all, okay, well, I don't want to know about all that. Now to get into it, I'm finally ready to discuss our plans for the 2020 Path to Pro system. From the time this is made public, I will be actively searching to sign 15 players under Mesa for the year with a twist. We will not be sending a roster of 5 to compete in open events as we did last year. Instead, we aim to boot up our academy by supporting whomever signs with us to achieve the end goal of getting you a franchise spot, whether that be helping you manage your content, your social media, or using the contacts we've worked to gain the last couple of months to directly contact franchises throughout the year on your behalf. We aim to do that we aim to do what we can within our limits to achieve that goal. What would signing with us mean for you? We'd essentially act as an agency, expect you to be receiving benefits from ourselves as well as directly reaching out to the franchises for you rather than waiting for them to come to us. As for the Path to Pro events, we will loan you out to whatever organization you wish to represent for each LAN. And finally, all the terms of each contract will be negotiable to ensure both sides are happy and benefit from
it. Basically, what they're doing is they're signing players, and then they want the players to be brought. Yeah, that's this is a money-making scheme.
Literally, the players that sign with them, do they actually think that any AMORG's gonna buy them?
That was where I was questioning it. I don't mind the whole agency to push it towards franchise team. I don't mind that, but I don't know if there is going to be AMORGs buying. I think you're right on that.
You just be sat on your arse doing now watching.
Unless you're like,
and then that puts your stock even further down.
Unless you are like a top 10 ARM player, I don't see that.
All right.
And like they say, they've got made contact over the past couple of months and being insane. Like what? you know people's ads on Twitter. Like you
The
are.
thing you
Like,
say as well about the top arms, why would they sign with them? Like the top
exactly.
arms, the franchises already know about
Exactly.
them, so like they don't need them.
apparently there's a salary. Even if there's a salary involved, it's just like the only way it benefits the player realistically is if the player doesn't get a franchise. Because this moment of franchises actually might be interested, you're just going to be stuck because they're probably going to be cunts with the
Just
buyouts.
more stress, like.
All right. Here's my take on this, because I've been looking at this for a few days, and I want to give the benefit of the doubt to Mazer that they think they're doing a good thing. But here's where you have to be careful, and I don't blame Mazer for this, and I don't have any issue with Mazer at all. I think giving a guaranteed monthly salary is interesting because it says volumes about the system that they are trying to work. Essentially, what they want to do, and from their terms of reinvestment, is they basically have to go the route of whatever they pay out in monthly salary and the work they're going to try and do, they have to recoup somewhere along the line. And that is going to be the buyout or whatever contract or whatever loan they are going to give. Because they're also talking about loaning players out. Now, I don't think that that's going to be free unless they do it like a salary transfer or whatever. It's interesting to say that they think they're going to go towards franchises and help them push, because being perfectly honest with you,
Not happening.
I don't see that being a big thing yet. I don't think it's one of these things where it's a big thing. We spoke about this with agents, right? I remember speaking to players about agents about this. At this point in the game, I don't think agents have enough sway to guarantee you to get into a franchise. And I've already heard of players who've come back to me and said, by the way, my agent did fuck all getting me into this franchise. Literally did nothing. I did the work. So right now, with Mazer, I can see, I would like to know what their contracts are. I would like to know how it's all going about. But what Mazer essentially are going to do is try to go to bat for you to get you into a franchise. I just don't see that much value in it.
And it's probably, even if they don't do nothing, it's probably going to be like, if you get to go to a franchise, you have to be bought out. So
there's going to be something out for them.
The worst thing is the fact that they can stop you from going to a Path to Pro event, and then your stock just is dead. If you don't go to these events, like, your stock goes to the bottom of the AMP pile, like it goes down. What's the point?
Yeah, someone said in the chat about apparently they've got a list of players, so I can already imagine this list of players who they're gonna probably want to get. And I think I've actually heard a name or two, and it's just players who everyone can put their finger on. Like, assume that if anyone's gonna get brought through into the sub spots or the thingy, like it's these obvious players. So like they obviously want them, and then they just want to sell them on. It doesn't make no sense to be honest. Like, they're only going to try selling players who obviously everyone knows is potentially going to get bought through.
I don't think it'd be bad if they're not stopping you from going to the Path to Pro events with whoever you want whilst you're waiting. But if they are, then that's just stupid.
Well, someone said they got a list, so I can imagine that list. Like I said,
so they got So there's some more going down. You have to dive into the replies to see some of this. Yeah. So our goal is to get signed players into franchises. We're putting together player decks and helping support their growth throughout. The loan part of it is just the whole process. In most cases, agencies will want a percentage. Yes, they will. Of deal get signing with us. We've already established our name in the scene. True, I'll give that to Mazer. So we can be trusted. And not only will we not be taking a percentage of the players' deal for future franchises, but you'll also be receiving benefits from us. That bothers me. That statement bothers me, and I'll tell you why it bothers me.
I know for fuck all.
Yeah, well, clearly, Mazer aren't doing this for the benefit of the scene. Like, as much as I like to think that they're wonderful people. At some point, you can't go, I'm going to give you $1,000 a month salary, and we'll chuck you out and say we're not taking a percentage of something down the line. They have to get that money back, unless he's a billionaire, and I don't know. Mazer could be a billionaire. This esports Kieran guy. And I don't hate as well, just before, because this will probably be clipped and fucking read back to me. I've had enough problem with all this year already. I don't hate the idea. I genuinely don't. I like anything that helps build players' profiles and gets them further on. I think what Mazer are doing is right. I'm just not sure it should be a Mazer-led thing, because I think the general gist of this, if you can take this whole thing with a few bits of changes, is a players' association.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like something that needs to be aimed for in the next couple of years. To be fair, but I just don't know if it starts here. Like the idea could be good, but I don't know the platform they have is the right one to start it with.
They're just gonna like, as bad as it sounds, I think they're just trying to get people who aren't as clued up and make a bit of money from it.
Yeah, to be fair, I got rinsed by a contract when I was like just turned 18. At the
Yeah.
start of Black Ops 3.
People need to be very careful with CoD, and
Yeah.
that's again that's a players association, which can't deal with everything, right? Technically, the players association would have to be started by the big boys in the franchise now, and they should have already be started. It should have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
What esport got one made one recently? I'm trying to think. I remember seeing it.
CS,
Yeah,
got one.
Yeah,
They've got Sipsa, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good. I think Riot have a thing where they pay for agents to help deal with teams, which I don't mind. Is actually a good thing for them, but it's not the same. But I don't know. I would have to keep an eye on this Mesa thing. If any player wants to sign with Mesa and would like other people to look over the contract, don't be hesitant to go ask somebody, even for a second set of eyes. It's always worth it. You're allowed to, you can go get a lawyer, you can consult, even just asking somebody else to just have a double check because
That's Brice.
Yeah, just get Brice on it, man. Send it 50 contracts slapped on his desk.
I've done that before.
I wasn't suggesting that, but I was just saying it's always worth it because they may question it, they may have a response, they may say, you need to go get this queried. And obviously, a second person has a more objective standpoint than you because sometimes people just see the money and go, "Yeah, I'm in." Yeah, brilliant. Let's just fucking sign. And I know many players have done that, but I'm curious. The Mesa thing could be good. It could be bad. I think there's so much grey area, and we've had so many terrible organizations and terrible scumbags in esports and Call of Duty. It worries me every single time.
Even last year, man. Like, what do we have? Red, Midnight,
Denial,
like. 4 years into the CWL, and we've still got them.
But if anything, you're gonna do anything like what Major Swan does, you might as well get an actual agent because it's gonna work out the same way to a certain extent. They'll take
Just
X amount of your salary,
Yeah.
and at least then, like that person's probably gonna actually do something instead of say.
I mean, they're also gambling that the AMs aren't gonna get a salary from an org to play for them.
Yeah, we don't know anything about the Path to Pro yet. There could be tons of events.
Why would you go to them if you're getting a salary from a different org?
Yeah.
What's the point of them picking up like low tier, middle tier AMs, this like Mesa, when they're not gonna get looked at like at least straight away from the franchises?
Clarence actually asked how much are agents taking roughly percentage-wise. So there's two sections for this, and I can reveal some of them. I've talked about it before. The lowest I've seen is 7.5.
I know 5. I've heard 5.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that one. The max I've seen is 15 from salaries, and then it's and some prize pool, and then it changes depending for outside deals. Like if you get a deal with fucking Coke or something, they can take up to 21%. But whatever, that's kind of how it goes. But there's agents have this. We've had the agent conversation. There are many benefits to having an agent. If you have the right one, they go to bat for you and they work all this shit out. But at this point, I want to take the opportunity to move on. And it kind of relates to you two, right? This has been a curious roster mania. Big switch up of teams, big kind of new faces, new organizations, and everything going on. How have you two found this one different on obviously behind the scenes than you have done before? I'll go to you, Josh.
It's out of your hands, like to a certain extent. Unless you're a big name, it's not really up to you. Like you can put yourself out there, and sell yourself, but it's usually you can just make a team and then you go to orgs. This time you gotta let orgs hopefully come to you, or sell yourself and orgs want you. It's a lot harder to sort yourself out.
Yeah, I've literally done nothing. I've had a couple of people DM me today that are pretty certain, along with me, that they're not gonna get a sub spot at least straight away. Saying what am I doing? And I'm just like, well, I don't know, because I don't know who's got sub spots. I don't know how anything works, and I don't even know when the season's starting. So I'm literally just been sat doing nothing.
There is something to be said for potentially holding those sub spots open until we get the game. You could, if you wanted to, you could probably trial players for a little while and go, yo, let's have this player scrim with our sub team for a while. see how they fit in the roster, see how good they are. Because you don't have to take the risk if you don't want to. As long as you've got 2 already down, you've got 3 slots, so you can go, well, we can actually put these in whenever. We can go right up until the very first week of the season if we want to put these in and sign them in, or sign them whenever. And then that gives us options later on.
And,
Go on.
sorry. No, I was going to say, like, obviously, you sign a contract now, like, it gets signed now, like, you're getting paid from now, so it's saving them money. Like, the later they're signing you, they're saving money, and there's no really rush to sign, like, players, like you say.
I mean, everyone knows the first month of the plan came anyway, just teams figuring shit out.
Yeah.
And a lot of focus is going to go into the main team. Even though I believe, the coaches should be also keeping an eye on their second team and try to figure it out, because you could have signed a good player who's just not as good at this game, or doesn't.
A lot of people have done it. Pretty sure a lot of
Do you think
people are basing it off last year.
I think this is just around, like, it's kind of related, but do you think the first event will be like last year's open events where, like, you've got the pro and the AM side, or do you think that AM and pro events will be separate?
No,
I think they'll be interlinked to a point. I think it'll be similar to what the main events were like last year.
What, so having all the teams at the same time, but 2 different competitions?
In my head, and I don't know this off for definite, in my head, I think they'll do it so, that they're on about having it in different cities, shit like that. So they'll have, like, some Pro League games on during the weekend, or, like, a good chunk of them. Obviously, everybody sort of plays a few games at least or something over the weekend in one city, and then they'll have the open on at the same. That's what I think, but I don't know for definite.
Yeah,
I think it'll be something like that.
It's curious. It's very curious. I think a lot of while we said the press dump is coming, it's still so much to figure out. And again, we keep hammering the same point, and I am sick of myself saying it. Coaching teams and all that infrastructure, it determines so much going forward. Scouting, fucking figuring out your team slots, figuring out how the culture of the team, how you bring in new players, how you adapt to the new situation of the game, the meta, everything has to be driven from the top down this year.
Probably going to be god awful this year, but
yeah, don't get me wrong.
That's the thing though, like, because it's such a long-term thing, it's just it is gonna develop and get better and better, you'd hope, anyways.
Yeah.
So I mean, this year I think people are gonna probably have to deal with a lot of shit, like coaches, GMs, players. Just depends what team, who's got the most say in what team.
Yeah. Has it been more secretive this year? Because I know in previous years, basically anybody that made any move, it was automatically known by everybody almost straight away.
It's kind of the same now, to be honest.
Oh, is it?
Unless
within circles, I would say.
Yeah, like, it's not. People can't keep their mouth shut. Like, it's. I could probably name you everything right now. Like, I don't speak to that many people.
I haven't really tried to speak to anyone about it, but I think I might have messaged Josh a few times and found out a couple of things from other people, but yeah, nothing really much.
I think just to mention what Aston said, can you have underage players on the bench and not play them? I'm going to presume no.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It wouldn't surprise me if there's any underage players that teams know about. They're saying like a pre-contract or something.
All the underage have turned age, like,
yeah.
overage,
I don't think there's anybody particular that were.
I don't think you'd be allowed anyway. Because what's the point of them being on the bench?
Can't sneeze, man.
You couldn't have them on the bench.
No, I don't think so.
Here's a question for you two specifically. Because Team War definitely did better than a lot of people expected at Worlds. Has that impacted, your response in the off season in any way? Like, do you think it's elevated you guys a little bit?
Probably Josh, not done anything for me. I haven't even got a DM.
It kind of did. I think it kind of did to a certain extent, but like nothing come from it really. Like I wouldn't have got certain messages if I didn't. Like, if we didn't do well and throughout that thingy, but like it's not to the point where like, oh well, you actually done really well, like with a shit fucking situation, like having to play EU teams non-stop and then obviously thingy, like going over there and doing well, but like not to the point where it's like, oh yeah, we want you 100%.
I think the only thing it might have done for me realistically was like, if I have maybe a good start of this year, then I'll probably be on people's radars already, maybe. But we'll have to just see what happens. But in terms of this off season, it's not done anything for us that I know of.
I think it's maybe not done anything yet. I think you guys have certainly will have more of a a name going forward, and you can point to it. You know, the highlight video that come out for you guys as well. You know, you can kind of say, look, that was us. You know, we did do something very impressive.
Well, it's helped other players. Like if you use like say SNG for example, like they didn't even do anything
Yeah.
throughout other events. Like we actually, well, when my throughout that whole AM season, like we done good at other open events as well. SNG went to champs, done top 12.
Top
You
12.
class that as good, and well, without thinking, there's players who have signed from them, like just because
Yeah.
of doing well in
And I
like
think-
one match.
And all their names are on the radar.
And I think that is more so due to their names not being as known as yours originally, and it's sort of they're seen as new and
It's just
upcoming, whereas you guys have been
it's
around for a
just the
while. I think
unknown,
that's
isn't
it. Yeah.
It's the unknown.
Shut up, Connor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's another point. But where did not finish again? Where
They
was
finished
it?
top 6,
Top 6, yeah.
and
And
believe
one
it or
of
not,
them's
it's probably
been picked up.
no. Well, if you're classing, well,
Brice.
if you're classing Reese and Joe, but like out of the other, oh, actually, yeah, never mind. Yeah, I just had a brain fart. Yeah, but out of the 3 other players, one person's
Yeah, one.
got a spot. Like all 3 of them deserve a spot. I've played with them all. Like they all definitely deserve a spot. But there's no explanation why they finished top 6. Like if people actually use the bracket thing, like they're just talking out their ass.
Let's start our walk down memory lane then, and start talking about going back
What
with
Joel
you
just
two.
said. Sorry to cut him, Brice.
Yeah.
It as stupid as it sounds, it's literally you have to do that. to a
But then
certain
that comes back to having the
So-
knowledge, having the experience of these players over time. That's where we've seen maybe a lack of from some certain organ.
So let's talk about champs then. Let's talk about Team War. In what was, because I mean, technically, we saw it. We were there for quite a few of your games.
Bit of bloody everyone.
We've already spoken to Dave about it a little bit, but how did you two think champs went? And from your point of view, start with you, Vortex.
I mean, it started probably the worst it could have because we went in thinking, yeah, E6, that's the game to get out of groups, but absolutely smoked. No map was close, and then from there, like we turned it around, and it was. I mean, I'm happy with where we placed and the teams we beat. To be honest, like we definitely could have gone further, but it's what it is.
There is because I wanted to question this because we questioned Dave about it as well, and I believe it was Defrag, the Grav Slam that didn't go off.
Oh, I got slam.
No, it's S&D's on about against Splice.
Oh, the S&D
Yeah.
with
Oh, bloody hell. But he
shot
usually
punched them.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember. I still
the
think
same
it
thing.
was the right play. It was just sort of
It's
like
still the same thing. Like when the E6 game where we lost, like literally the third round was turn up in the series, turn up in the control.
It
The
was
third
1-1, I
round,
think, but yeah.
no, was it?
It was like,
Well,
It was
either
maybe
way,
1-0
one of the
or something.
rounds, if like we was literally out
About to
to
win
grab
it.
slam, if my grab slam goes off, we kill them all, we win the round, then we win the match, we win 3-0, and then who knows what happens.
Yeah, there was a lot of that Splice game. Obviously, was insane.
the control. I don't think I'll ever forget that.
Took up others,
Oh, mate, how did you win that
Control
map?
Arsenal? You mean Seaside, mate?
Yeah, I said control Seaside.
Did Arsenal?
I didn't. I said control. I just said
Oh,
control. I
shut up,
didn't
man.
say.
You said Arsenal.
No, I didn't.
Watch
I
it
didn't say.
back.
I will. I will. Anyway,
Watch it back.
besides the point, I said control. I'll never forget that one because it
Yeah,
was a
that
bit
was
mental. I still have no idea
Every
how you
round.
won that.
Was it stressful from you guys? Like, what was your mindset going into those in each round?
They
And
just
then he
turned into
died
took up
again
others.
before the game.
They were literally,
For the
they just decided they didn't want to win.
for the
Did you-
series.
Did you say anything to each other? What was like the? Do you remember anything you guys said to each other in between rounds there? Because there's always
I remember
conversation going on.
the two defenses we won where it was like, I don't know, 5v12 or something. Both of them were like that when they're 4v9 or something. Josh saying like, oh, if you get another few more kills, we can use one round it was Crash, one round it was Vision Pulse, and then it just ended up working like that.
Yeah.
And then it like we did make the first few kills, and then we used Crash and Vision.
Well, and then when you just
work.
gain hope over the post, like, we was 2-0 down, and the third round we was down in like lives, and then like they wasted a couple of specialists, and then we won that round. It's like
Yeah.
there's actually a bit of hope here, and then next round they blow specialists. Like this is ours to win.
Shout out to Mayhem's War Machine in the control.
Oh, yeah, against
that was
D6.
mate, that was unbelievable. They both, I'm pretty sure, least Defrag had flak on, but because he direct impacted him and he literally got the shot off just as he died, he got a 2-piece with it. And if he didn't get that 2-piece, we capped the.
Because I remember that one, and I remember
control.
Steve-O, you literally ran through them in the first round. I was like, shit, this game is over. But then it suddenly turned around. It was mental. Like every single, you didn't have like one map where I thought, it was just a simple game. I thought it was some of the craziest games we cast of all year by far.
Yeah, it actually was. But you haven't even mentioned Gen G. That was a madness as well. We knocked out Gen G the first day.
That's true as well. That was. Do you think? Because that almost you guys weren't really mentioned at that time. Like nobody because Gen G going out was so mental, right? Gen G going out was so insane that that's all anybody spoke about. It wasn't about anybody else in that group. It wasn't about anything else. It was just holy crap, Gen G have gone 7 hours into day one.
We got smoked so bad by E6 and then came back 4 hours later and smoked them. It made no sense.
It didn't make any sense. How did you feel after that game then? Because you realised, like,
my head was in the bin for a couple of hours. But then you just got to regain. Like, you just got to use them few hours to
first map was everything.
Begin. And yeah, the energy. I think like we knew our lives were on the line. And it's a different kind of energy when you're the underdog, whereas there, like the pressure's on. You just lost to lose to Dylan's team, Mad Cat's team, and then so like their tournament lives were on the line as well. But I think they were in 2 different spots. Like they were probably shitting themselves a bit.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. Like it must be very, very stressful knowing when you sit down against a team like Gen G, who a lot of people were thinking, is this their time to win champs?
Should have been.
Well, for us, it was just all or nothing. Like, but for them, they had so much to lose. So
and you knew they was like, well, after they lost to Fuego, when that Morks thing happened, like when he was like, "Oh, you still got like who is it shouting?" Chaxter was shouting at him, and Morks turns around like, "Oh, make sure you win the rest of your group games, buddy." Like as if to say like, "Oh, we're gonna smoke the rest of our group. It doesn't matter." So like they obviously were a bit ahead of themselves, which is rightly so realistic because they should have walked through that any day of the week. I said to Morks after like 9 times out of 10 they're gonna smoke everyone in that group without even struggling.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, let's go further back then. Let's start to Josh. Josh, when was like your first big memory of coming into Call of Duty esports? Like this is your welcome to the pros sort of story. Do you remember when it was first kind of dawned on you that like, oh shit, I can do this at the top level?
Probably EGL8 when we beat Optic. Or
you mean that you mean the one that? Do you remember?
Good enough.
I mean, there's nothing like major. We've done all right like other events, but like there's always like we just sat there just competing behind the Americans non-stop, like just playing for fun really. And then when we beat, shut up, Marky. When we beat Optic at EGL8, it was like we just beat the best team in the world who were like smoking everyone, and then like it's like.
Did you see Scump on a podcast the other day say what did he say about that? Because they mentioned EGL8 and he said they were having troubles because it was so cold in there.
Well, it's the same for us. What's the fucking difference?
I don't remember it being that cold. Admittedly, I was
jacket
in the videos that I have seen of the after celebration.
What's the difference?
That was a weird event for us as well, if I remember rightly.
Well, that's because you're a terrible person.
Nope.
That was like, I mean, admittedly, that was a very big kind of
I'm asking about Europe. Nick Ward. I remember that one now. Actually,
go on. Tell us about Nick Ward.
No, he's on about when I think EGL4 beating Infuse was when it was like Jake and whatnot. I think when they forgot to run the flag. I might be wrong, but nah, definitely EGL8. Unless you want to talk like pro, like when it was like fully serious and I was actually classed as a pro, it was like probably G3 or G2, whatever it was when we finished second.
How do you think it's changed from back in those days? You know, going back to like EGL4 to now, like even like the culture in the hotels and stuff. Like I remember going back to the Norbreck, you know, and you've got the subcom running around trashing the place.
He's a friend.
There wasn't even a subcom back then, though.
It wasn't even a subcom back then. You're right. It was just
It was just everyone there.
fucking res.
like Res. You know,
He
shitty.
was the
You got
subcom.
Pato pissed me 15 points. Like,
Oh yeah, that was
It was
it.
more-
Yeah, I had
more
15 pints
chill.
and 7 double vodka Red Bulls. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
it was literally just
Classic.
more chilled than like you just do
Five
whatever you
Alive,
want.
that was funny.
You'd go there, you'd play your games, you'd go to the hotel bar, everyone would be there, literally. Like everyone from the event would be in the hotel bar just chilling, and then just like.
I mean,
go again in the morning.
it's like sort of like we sort of started going to events about the same time, if I remember rightly. Like what was your first EGL? Was it 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first EGL. It was ECL. It was my second event ever, and like back then it was just like you were just going for a piss up essentially. I mean, I was because I wasn't very good. It was just a case of like turn up.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I still. Everyone was like, "Who's that kid fucking screaming?"
There was less separation between, although there was still a little bit of elitism back in those days.
a little bit,
yeah.
but it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't as bad as it is now. Certainly wasn't as many clout chasers. I'll tell you that for nothing. But I don't know. For me, something going back to those kind of events, right? Like I remember the Norb, and this is a horrific story. Waking up in the morning and everybody's chatting the next day, and people are talking about somebody shitting in a pizza box, and that was the big news.
Mate, that was on Black Ops 3, I swear. That wasn't even.
I can't remember what that was. It wasn't. I can't remember when that was.
I'm pretty sure it's like Amateur Pro 4 that like Millennium and Infuse went to, but no one else did. Like of the good teams. Like in the first month of Black Ops 3. I think it was at Peterborough or something. I don't even think it was at the Norbrook.
It was Deserto Forum elitism. That's
No,
why I
he's
said
not wrong. It
fucking
definitely was.
facts. You had a coloured username, that was it.
Oh
You
yeah.
made it.
So for me, I remember being ignored by DeSoto back in those days. I think it was
But
Big Mellow Marsh.
I know, but he would have been
that
running
was-
the events though.
Yeah, that was back when he was in EGL.
Yeah.
Big Mellow Marsh. I think it's like Kerry Bennett and a few others.
Keza.
probably Mike Ken back then. Sitting in a hotel bar, couldn't even get a word in. I think I actually got blanked by Chris Marsh back then.
Senior
At one of my
haircut.
first events.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, just full on blanked. I remember sitting down next to like people like watching Nick Ward and Swan playing free for alls and just gunning people. But it was kind of like that very, very casual time in COD. And thinking back into, you look back at rose tinted glasses, obviously, you don't remember how horrifically shit the beds are. And what a terrible, terrible place the Norbreck Hotel actually is. You just remember great stories of,
Yeah.
people like, and I won't name names in this one because if you're an OG, you're going to know who this story's about anyway, but I'm not going to bring it up. Somebody being cheated on by their girlfriend, and she claimed that she was locked in a lift for 4 hours. And that was one of the big news of the day. People weren't always talking about which team did what the previous
people
day.
didn't care.
Yeah, but the first thing everybody would talk about was the drama that happened at an event. Because it was very much a social thing. It was definitely more social than it is now, because now it's quite serious. The pros will have to get their shit together first. Back then, you'd still get accused of being too sweaty. You've practiced way too much. What is wrong with you?
That's the typical Shane comment. That was what Shane
Yeah.
had. All the excuses Shane did.
It was like that, wasn't it? Like people started like complaining, "Oh, these lot just sweat the game." Oh, yeah, yeah, they do. And that used to be like a sort of a complaint, didn't it? But now it's just some.
Sweat the game, yeah. He's 25
that's
grand
your
a month,
job,
mate.
mate. Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. Yeah, there was some shit went down at a few of those events. Has to be said. Imagine if half that shit went down now, though. Well, people would be like literally
Howard Blake
banned from the league.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these stories happen to big players, like well-known players in the scene. Like if you can imagine that happening now, people would be asking for them to be banned from the event. Like it's not even like a consideration. That would genuinely be happening.
You don't remember? Was it Miami where there was some kid trying to fight with Brack's dad outside?
Yeah.
That just reminded me of like fucking like old events. People are scrapping.
If that happened in the UK, that wouldn't have been the talking thing.
Well,
it was.
no,
It
of
would have
course
already
not,
kicked
no.
off into a fight about 6
Yeah.
seconds.
Was anyone there
after
during
it
the
happened.
during the
one of
Jack
the
reaction
videos.
Wardle scrap?
Yeah,
Legendary,
that's what I'm saying.
legendary.
No break at the front.
Yeah, it was fucking sick. A
Happened at my
proper.
first event.
Hey,
Proper
fucking Reedy got banned from Champs, remember, on AW?
Oh, was that no? Who hit Reedy?
Robs.
Rob.
And then he got banned.
and they really got banned, yeah.
I'm sure.
Let's be honest, who's surprised?
It would be
Jordan
Jordan,
Reed.
It would be.
But
He's going to come in and start kicking off now.
he might be. I don't know. I don't know if he's been invited on this week.
He did get invited. He told me he was going out, so
That's fair enough.
we can talk
But
shit about him.
don't get me wrong, right? A lot of that stuff shouldn't happen. Like, you shouldn't have 16-year-olds, passed out in hotel hallways.
I've seen some
you
current
see-
pro players in
you
some
see
bad
Frank-
states. In some bad states.
Adam Matthews, man, he loved it. His first event.
There was one player who was the worst for it, but I don't want to like name names, but one player, ironically, the worst for getting absolutely rollied, like to the point, like in fucking wheelchairs and shit. If you remember rightly.
Oh wait, I know.
I don't know if I want. Yeah. I don't know if I want to say it.
Here's the worst thing. We have to be careful here because these are current. We have to go to past pros. We can't keep talking about current pros. Like, you cannot just bring that up. I was going to say, like, I do appreciate the I don't think I would feel safe with that atmosphere back then in the size of events we have now. Things like
that with the amount of people
and yeah, exactly. Like, I remember going to this was my very first competitive LAN for the typical circuit, because my very first one was I Series. I'm lying. I think this was my first one playing, because I was supposed to be at ECL 1, which was supposed to be XL 7. So here's the story. So I was supposed to be at XL 7 with a team. That got cancelled, if you remember, and it turned into ECL 1. So I remember speaking to my team saying, all right, well, don't worry, it's not cancelled anymore. We can go to this new event, ECL 1. And one of my teammates turned around to me and went, can't go now. I go, but why? It's literally been like 2 days between the cancelling and the new one. Surely it's, I think it's the same time and everything. Why can't you go? He goes, well, when you told me the last event was cancelled, I spent all of my money on drugs. And that was genuinely the reason. I didn't end up going to LAN till ECL 3. Was my teammate, as soon as he found out that money was freed up, just spent it all on drugs.
But then, I mean, there was...
Sounds very familiar.
You don't remember when we were like... when it got to the point... I was teaming with... I mean, Josh will remember, I'm spoken online. There'd be people like him, and you just wouldn't know if he was ever going to turn up to a LAN, and you used to have people in your team, and you're like, is this kid going to dodge this sort of thing?
The LAN dodgers.
The Busby special?
But Busby did go to LAN in the end, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, but he also dodged a few.
Yeah, I was saying, Josh, I was team was spoken at one point. It was like, fuck,
Best
like
player in the game.
Mate, he was so good. He was bizarrely good. It was like, you're gonna come to LAN? Yeah.
Could be worse, mate. Could have someone dodge on you last year.
Oh,
And you're in the league.
That's tough. Yeah.
Big up Nathan Orton, man.
Yeah, that's true. Let's. A few announcements are coming in. Apparently, I need to double check this one out. Methods is announcing who he's playing for.
Who's that?
Do you not know
Methods.
that? I assume.
I think
Methods has tweeted a fake announcement video.
right, okay, playing it for the stream.
Oh, we've just been
Ladies and gentlemen,
debated.
I could not be more excited to finally
I'll just
announce
say his team now to piss him off.
you fucking thought.
Tell you what's not changed. Fucking team announcements, apparently.
Oh, that London one was bad.
Oh, mate, we'll not talk about it. We've been through this one quite a few times.
Okay. We'll not talk about it.
The vein on Brice's head will continue.
Mate,
to grow.
I couldn't believe the second one after the slander they got for the first one.
Yeah, not amazing.
Closet, Zach.
Let's talk about trash talk through the ages.
On Fortnite or something, Zach.
It's trash talkers, without really noticing it, has kind of disappeared a little bit. Like, you see players stand up and shout across stages occasionally.
You get warnings now. You get
Yeah.
warnings now for like saying personal stuff or like shouting directly at someone.
Oof.
Especially if you're like right across like the open bracket stations.
Yeah. It's cut down completely. Do you miss don't get me wrong, right? I remember sitting at Sheffield at it might have even been EGL 13. It wasn't even that long ago, and hearing amateurs scream at the top of the line obscenities to people literally 2 feet away from them.
It was fun when I was like 15, 16, but now I just Eh.
There's
I
a,
mean,
there's a level.
a little bit of smack talk here and there's fine, but like, where it was just literally like, I mean, there was some like legendary moments. Like, I don't even remember the one where Shane was shouting over
let
the
me
Dale.
type
That
this
was.
on the chat.
There was some absolutely hilarious ones, but then there was some where it was just like there was no substance behind it.
Wait, did this happen? Because I wasn't around when this happened.
What are you putting this?
I
in the
think
chat?
in
the chat.
Oh,
you're
you're gonna say what I think.
the most. If
I
this
can't
is
get
the
into it.
famous Shane one,
No,
Shane
you
has
heard
the
about,
world's
you heard about
famous
the Shane.
one.
You heard about the Shane one when I was teaming with him when he
Yeah.
found Killer.
No,
Was
he
it?
was not
Well, I
talking
thought it
to
was
Damon.
Karma. I thought it was talking to
He
Damon.
told Killer to take off his hat because Killer was bored, and well, it was something along those lines.
No,
but
there was that one. There was
every single person found it hilarious.
Did that one happen that I put in the chat?
Yes, that did happen. Yes, that did happen.
Well, you can talk about that one. Talk about that one. See, this is
I wasn't
history
there.
that
I've just
people
seen
don't
a
know.
video of
I
it.
can't see the chat. What is it?
Carnage
can bring
Chats
this
at
one
the
up.
bottom.
Carnage
Yeah.
pulled his
Oh
chopper.
yeah.
An old school French player, Carnage, who might have been like, and this is not related to pulling his knob out. Maybe he's one of the hardest lads in the scene.
Just drink a whole bottle of vodka before you
Oh
play.
mate, he was mental. Good kid, but like mental. And like, I'm sure they beat somebody, and he like literally pulled his knob out and started like
Wasn't it
swinging
the
it
event
about
that
like
the
half or
French
something.
won?
Well, which one back then? Jesus. Yeah. It just. Again, what Ethan's just pointed out, Marky and
Broadcast
Madcat
as
going
well,
at each
man.
other.
On
Ah,
broadcast,
man.
imagine that now.
Oh no! You don't remember the end of? I think it was 2, where somebody I think was tains through a bottle at the French when they won it.
yeah.
It was.
They got kicked out the event. I remember that.
Oh man!
That happening now would literally break Twitter.
Oh,
yeah.
my
Yeah.
god!
You'd never see him at an event again.
Yeah, these are
Someone
things
launched a
like
bottle from the crowd.
That was
like there have been.
The best part about it is it smacked someone straight off the head.
yes, it didn't hit Celine.
Yeah, it did. She was behind them, weren't she? Yeah.
The French won the event, and admittedly, we're celebrating on the stage.
Wait, who recently on like IW threw a controller and it hit someone? Oh, that happened.
That was with Paris at
Yeah,
a controller leg, and it bounced off the floor and hit the admin on the head.
yeah.
Was
Someone
it on
literally-
track or somewhere?
yeah, it's some. I swear it was in like that
That was
Elevate
different
team
now.
or Fnatic team.
That was an accident.
No, that was
But-
accident, but I'm like, I was mad that happened.
One of my teammates used to rage like that. Admittedly, we couldn't stop laughing during the game, but he actually lost it and started throwing bottles around the station. And I wouldn't even mind. But the dude was 6'8". He was 6'8", like 25 stone. I was like,
Oh,
what are you
shit.
doing throwing plastic
Dave
bottles
Marsh.
around?
Dave Marsh, man, he threw his controller over his shoulder and it hit an admin.
Oh, was that not at ESWC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the same event Reedy got fined at?
Nah, that was Champs on IW.
No, it was in the SWC he got fined at because he went on stage and had a really bad interview.
Oh, he started swearing and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
Black Ops 3. No, that was Black Ops 3. Yeah. That was when we beat
We should stop saying Reedy stories when he's not here.
him.
I think for me, you talk about all this, and this stuff isn't going to happen anymore, right? You think of this year's events and think about how much drama's really actually happened. The
Braxtad.
Braxtad, and that's it. That's all I remember from a whole year.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like, even I think it started to trickle down now from the pros to the amateurs to be more respectful when you go in, and there is something to be said for sportsmanship and all that sort of stuff, because it's no longer as joking. And I don't know, maybe it's just it's me being jaded of being more exposed to the upper echelons of the scene, and I'm not so much so I don't speak to all the amateur players as much, but it does seem more relaxed, respectful to a point.
Just because the scenes grew older, it's like they put
Yeah.
the age cap
It's
on it.
more
it's
on the
just one of
line
them
as well,
things.
though. Like people don't want
Yeah.
like just it's all.
I think it's what Steve says. Everyone who done it back in the day is now like in the 20s and not going to do it anymore, and then the youngers are going to follow through with what the older people do,
They
which
set
is
an example.
yeah. And when everyone else is just chilled now, so like it's more just like just following the pack really. The
No
pack's
longer
chill.
would you spend your time after every scrim threatening to fight people at LAN just for the hell of it. It wasn't even serious. You just say it at the end of every scrim,
Yeah.
and it was insane. Here's the thing. So here's the thing I miss most about the old generation, and it is something that will always stick with me. It's the Deserto forums and the Deserto Scrim Now thread, because there are a lot of people that only know Deserto or Dexerto for the clickbait articles and the journalism they do, and that's it. That's all they knew about them. They know nothing else. They don't know about how massive it was back then. Deserto.
Go to.
Europe.
See
Yeah.
now when you go on Twitter, like you turn your PC on, you load up Twitter, you have a browse, blah blah blah. No, you load up the Deserto forums and check what's been going on.
Yeah.
I only experienced that for like maybe 6 months before it stopped.
Oh
It was
god,
like, I just used it for the scrim
I was the
thread,
people's caster back then. Oh my.
Everything
I used
Wasn't
to
it
piss
like
Bricey
basically
off
Twitter
so much.
back then?
I used to piss Bricey off so much because
Well,
after
basically
every event, I'd go on Deserto and make a thread of how was my casting, knowing fine well that Deserto loved me and I would always get positive comments.
I used to live to go on there to piss Shane and Crooks off.
Oh man, I tell you who got brutalized on Deserto was Phil. Phil got fucked on so many times, mostly due to some of the drama to do with Phil. But
of course, now I think about it, Phil was involved in quite a lot of old school drama.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I actually remember.
Billy.
oh,
Which we, and without
We'll
respect
stay
to
with them
Phil,
forever.
which out of respect to Phil, we won't cover at this point because of his career with Activision. But
The
we will.
stories just started coming back to me, man. I completely forgot about half of
man.
them.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I wanted to do with Spitfire. Like, there's a lot of Call of Duty history that people don't understand. Like I said before, the Deserto forum. So this is, but if you've never experienced it, this is how it used to work, and this is how I used to do it. You would go onto the forum and you'd go into the FA thread, right? You put your name down. If you were part of a 2 or 3 or whatever, you would go onto that forum, or just a 1, and you would message individually through Xbox Live, because it was Xbox back then, each of these and get them into a team. Then you'd have a 4. Now, once you had a 4, you go over to the Scrim Now thread, put your tag in, and then you'd wait for someone to send you an invite.
And then when your
such
team
an
go off,
easy
you go
way.
on the 8th thread.
Nice. Pick up Fred then.
Yeah, pick up thread.
Yeah, pick up thread.
Oh, I'm just going for a piss.
But yeah, the pickup thread, and then there was the random chat and stuff like that. Oh mate, the closing
match
new
reports were
buys
the best.
V2. Oh, the match
100%.
reports.
You had
And then there
some
was the
people
gym
love them, man.
thread. Oh wow.
You had the troll thread where you put all the pictures of what happened at events. Remember the picture of who was it? Was it Crooks with all the ironing board and that?
No, that was Tubes.
That's it, yeah.
Tubes, he had the LAN cable stuck in his ass.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, some fucking seriously funny. I think some don't realize like how long the European scene went on and just did all these like
Literally had a LAN
before
cable
it
stuck in his
became
ass.
man. What was when was ECL?
2015.
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah. As someone pointed out the other day.
No. ECL 2 was not 2015.
No, I say yeah, I'm wrong. I don't know why I said 2015. Someone pointed out the other day because it was my first event. They'll message me. It might have been like
It wasn't
13,
2015 because it definitely was more
13
than
or
4
12.
years ago.
yeah, it was 13 or 12 because Dill said to
Right,
me
I've
the
got
other day.
It was 2011, mate.
Fucking out.
Yeah, because I remember it was my birthday weekend. Actually, it was my 19th birthday that weekend. 22nd April till
Fucking
2011. Steve, how old
Mate.
were you in April 2011?
14? No, 13.
When your mic keeps cutting out, apparently.
Oh, does it? Okay, that'll be because of course Bryce will be laughing at that.
I will, but I think, like I said, there are so many stories and so many individual stories going back, and that's something I want to cover more on Spitfire, because we do the current events all the time, and I think that's great. But like you said, when you've been going to events for the best part of a decade, there are stories that none of us even know.
It's a different scene now. Completely different.
So
scene.
different. So
The only
different.
thing we ever have to be careful in going back on these is anybody still current. We have to be very careful of stories about them, because not that I really care about their reputations, but I think it's maybe unfair for us to just air out stuff that's been in the past. We'll wait till they retire, and then once they retire, it's fair game. But I don't know, man. Like there's been so many kind of bombs thrown around from people and stuff that could go badly, from back in those days. But you are right, the European scene has been around for a long, long time, and I think the Americans only ever see the glitz and glamour that was MLG when it started up. It was very glitz and glamoury. We didn't really have that. You go back and watch
we had
any...
a different feel.
A few of the Americans got involved. Like Damon knows what it's all about.
Oh, Damon
He
definitely
loves
knows
it.
what it's all about.
Yeah, he does.
He loves it. There's like a few, but a very few of them.
Damon loved it so much, and this is, way back before he became Three Rings. Damon loved it so much he ended up staying over here. And this is after his first, He went to Paris. He also stayed over in Camden.
Yeah,
and
no, I was
think he
staying with
really-
him.
Oh my
I was
God,
staying
Loco's
with them
house.
at Josh Loca, who's one of the dessert owners. I was staying at their house with Damon.
Yeah.
And there's some stories I could say about. I couldn't.
Well, we'll put it this way. Damon decided that instead of going home to America, he would just
He
keep
went and played in
rebooking.
Valencia.
He picked
Played
up
in
for
Valencia.
Marky B's team, didn't he? Was it Marky's team? Yeah, he picked up.
Oh, was that the DreamHack event?
He picked
Yes.
up for
Black Ops
someone.
2.
Picked up for
TCM,
someone
it was
and was like,
TCM,
"Fuck this,
it
I'm
was
not going
TCM.
home."
Man, no, didn't he pull off some crazy shit as well? Didn't he do like a mental clip?
On
where
B3 on Cargo.
Was it me and you casting that, Bryce?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And we just lost our heads.
Can you tell us any stories about Swanee?
Not without having him on.
Right.
Not without having him on. I've told him.
I have to charge for them ones.
All I can say about Swan is me and Swan used to be food buddies at events because we both had this thing that whenever we went somewhere new, a lot of people would go, right, we're going to McDonald's. And that would be it. The same people would go, right, we're going to McDonald's.
Right, hold tight. Hold tight. You
I'm
are
not talking
exactly the same on a different level, though. Everywhere we used to go, let's go to the fucking Hard Rock Cafe. Every event, we always go, let's go to the Hard Rock. Let's fucking not go to the Hard Rock Cafe.
I like the Hard Rock Cafe.
Talking thousands.
We're in bloody Paris, mate.
I want to go to a restaurant and I want to sit down. You two don't. You know what? I'm not even going to do this. Tunn took me to a couple's restaurant in Paris.
Accidentally.
At
And it
a
wasn't
gaming
just me
event.
and you. And it was still fire, though.
This place was the size of a cupboard. There was candles on the thing. It was dimly lit.
It was me and you, and it was Marsh, as in
Well, we went
Mello, and who else was there? There was definitely somebody else. Was it not Mike Kent?
I would say it was Matt Wadsworth.
Was it?
Swan was in bed by 9 o'clock every night.
Yeah, it's true. But no, with Swan, you decided to take us to the most romantic coupley restaurant.
In my defense, I didn't realize it was. It was just a highly rated steak restaurant in Paris. So I was like, fuck it, let's go
for
here.
couples.
Didn't realize it was a
Paris.
bit of a romantic one. And let's be honest, though.
Man.
And let's be honest, though, Bryce, was it good?
The food was good. I wasn't
was really
comfortable
good.
at any point.
No, it was
There was
really
literally
good.
only 6 people in there because it could only fit about 6 people in its intimate setting.
It was lovely. It was really nice.
No, yeah, it was lovely.
We had another little dinner date.
You sound like you enjoyed it a bit too much, Tunn.
Mate, no, if I was to tell the story of that Paris one that everybody here, they wouldn't find it funny. But
I don't come out well in that story, so let's not tell that story.
They wouldn't find it funny, but
Right.
oh man, we're going down a wormhole, yeah.
Yeah, we are. And these stories will come. So this is the plan for Spitfire going forward, right? Is there is a lot of Call of Duty history and anecdotes from players, and I want to bring out more of them. Because there is so much story to be told, and we cover a lot of stuff that goes on Reddit and Twitter and all that stuff, and give our opinions, and it's great. I love it. But we will do this occasionally where we kind of go down memory lane, and we'll see how people react to it. So if your future guests ever coming on Spitfire, make sure you got those written down. But let's move on now to questions from the chat and see what we can and can't answer from them. So let's get these questions on board and start rattling through them. Obviously, nothing too intense. Like I don't want to have to explain the ROI of franchises going into the next year. That's not a 5-minute conversation going forwards. And there are a few questions I actually saw earlier on. People asking about
the rumored teams.
About the rumored teams. Now, bearing in mind,
which one's the best? Do we think?
Best franchise roster. There you go. Straight in. Best franchised roster. We only have, isn't it Call of Duty Intel?
Can we just go off the rumored ones?
Yeah. So what we do is we don't, even if we do know, because sometimes we don't, sometimes we do, we go off whatever has been rumored on Twitter and Reddit, and therefore we're safe because it's just the rumors we're going off. So where are the rumored? I have the rumors here
He
somewhere.
tweeted out like a
Balancer.
go on his media, and it should be on there. Tweeted out a big list.
Is it Call of Duty Intel who tweeted it out?
Intel, yeah. Intel Call of Duty.
On paper, it's got to be Atlanta. You can't go against
Which one's
it.
the Atlanta one?
But Major Maniac, Abeezy, Sim, all that.
Oh, what, all the
You-
fucking mad bastards.
You
You know that
can't-
that roster with Octane,
The Chicago roster sounds good.
what is it? The old LG, is it? I don't even know. The one with
Well-
Octane's on it looks good.
We slacked. I can't remember us, but yeah.
Slasher on that team. Is it enable Slasher? I don't know. Maybe.
There's like enable slacked Octane. I don't know.
Karma and Apathy, is it? Is that it?
Something along those lines.
That actually be decent though. Thoughts on Matty Longstaff? Oh, Tunn, I'll let you take this one.
Oh,
we'll get
how
to
long
we'll
have
get
you
to
got?
that. Let's we'll get to that one. We'll get to that one in a minute. Bear, what would name be for a franchise sport of your choice? Sport, I'm guessing spot.
Spot. Yeah.
If you had to
Ooh.
name a franchise spot.
The Newcastle Magpies. Get
Get it! Up the tune. Matty Longstaff's mags.
Matty Longstaff's mags.
Josh, have you got one per chance?
Nah, don't have a fucking clue.
Vortex, do you think of anything?
Just that some at the Magpies.
Actually, proper like Dallas. It's like obviously it's already named, but that's like I don't know if you're talking serious names anyway. That's like got to be up there. I actually love that really a lot. Really a lot. English.
I was throwing around names before, the official names got announced, or leagues and stuff. I liked the London Crusaders, although it sounds like a rugby team.
Not bad.
Can't app Octane.
I did the only reason the only reason that was is because I wanted to dress up as a knight at home games. I thought that'd be fantastic. Just warming the crowd up, dressed up in full armor.
Now you have to dress up as a
interesting.
bird.
I'm talking
Yeah, that was-
They look the best, but I don't think they'll be the best. I don't think they'll be that good. They'll obviously be decent because they've got good players, but I don't think they'll be the best.
Who's this? Sorry.
Atlanta, look simple.
I think it's hard to say without
I don't think they'll be the best.
It's a very different game to buy ups for.
Man,
Very
it must
different.
be long being on London and Paris, having to travel so much
Oh,
for home and away
I know,
games.
but this is it.
I think they'll be based in America and only
Yeah.
come back occasionally.
Based in America, then whenever London have
To
their
begin
games.
with, I fully believe 2 years from now there'll be a lot more teams in the league and there'll be a lot more European spots, and then it probably won't be allowed to travel as much.
Because I think what they'll do is, as said, they'll do like weekends at each city. So then, like, everybody
Yeah.
has to travel to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what we think.
Yeah.
We don't know.
They could put an event there, and then that'd be even better.
Best player not currently linked or on with a franchise team. Give these two a shout. Josh and Vortex. Team War. Have you not seen the highlight?
Have you
video?
not included
I'll have to give that one to Josh, to be fair, because he's got a lot to offer. He's done so much with every team. He's
not
been
including ourselves? I'd go with Wheelman. I think.
or
the first-
Nick.
I'd go with Connor. Out of everyone.
Sure.
Shut up, Zach.
Sean is a good shout. Is Shawnee not fucking linked with the team yet?
Sean's signed.
Oh, there we go. Intel dropped. Well, there we go.
Oh, heard it here first.
Moving on. All right. What is this? What is thoughts on Matty Longstaff? I don't know what the hell you. Is this some sort of in joke I've missed?
Newcastle player. Fucking let him get out of the system. Look at him, the buzzer.
Little ginger kid scored on his debut against Manchester United. Ah, what a day!
Wow,
What
that's a
day.
shit topic. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Favorite event you've ever attended? Who wants to
Black Ops
do
3
this?
champs.
That makes sense. That does make sense.
That's
Vortex.
always the easy answer. But
Overall,
the
like,
whole thing, I'd like. Obviously, that's best for fucking placement, and I made a lot of money. But
I mean, like the
I love
the
Nola.
event was.
What?
We're just talking like the event, like the hotel, the venue, the way it was like laid out.
I think it's just best one in your mind.
That's really.
I'm not carrying that because I say that every time. I'd say Nola. I love Nola.
I was
like-
ill for Nola, so
What, Nola last year?
No, I don't know. I love that event. I love that like
oh,
place.
you came.
I
did you
didn't
come
like
second?
New Orleans
come-
personally.
That was Atlanta.
Fourth. I love fucking Bourbon Street. If that's what it's called.
Oh, Bourbon Street.
Bourbon
I've
Street,
seen you
Bourbon
there a few times.
Yeah, great place.
I actually really enjoyed Miami this year. I just in general the vibe of it and everything. I really
Do
enjoyed
what
it.
for me?
We were
no,
always
actually, I
playing.
quite
We didn't
liked
even
it.
get a chance to do anything.
Oh mate, vibe that day, man. Oh,
No,
Bryce,
no.
tell me that wasn't the best Monday at an event ever. Though.
No, it wasn't. I'm still no, because I think it may have been XP. XP may be the best, and mainly because
Black Ops 3.
how
yeah.
nice.
Oh,
yeah,
no, wasn't
how,
that? Yeah.
how nice. There was a ton of stuff outside. The stadium was good. Like They treated us not great as talent. Still one of the best times I've ever been treated as talent.
Where at? Sorry.
Like it's this is Black Ops 3 XP.
Oh yeah. That's
We had the actual like, and this is just the talent side. You had the changing rooms, like the actual green rooms back there. We got to I did some great casting that weekend.
Oh yeah, some good casting. You had a good time. Did
The
you?
venue was really good. I love the stages. I've always said that them stages were literally the best we've ever had.
Was it good, Q? Did you all enjoy it? Yeah.
European team in the final, and then
you were there. Fucking crying.
Mate, it was one of the only ones I missed two.
Didn't Rel go over you?
No, we'll not get into it.
Rel went over you.
No, did Rel go?
Yeah, Rel, because he casted me.
Okay,
no,
so
it wasn't Rel. Wasn't Rel.
What?
Was Rel not there? Was that it done by
I don't think he was. I don't think Rel was there. Oh, it might have been actually. It was still quite early.
No, that was the
Who
one...
was that? Oh no, it was fucking Chris Trout.
Yeah.
Trout was there.
Trout and Rel, I'm pretty sure. Or was actually?
I know Chris Trout was there because I remember watching one of my games back.
Yeah, Rel. It might not have been Rel actually. It might have been Trout. I'm thinking of.
And the other thing was after that event, one of the times I ever stayed after an event, I went to like a LA mansion for like 2-3 days with a lot of people, and it was just sick. It was just such a good event. Yeah, that and the first champs.
Apart from nearly dying, it was pretty good for me too.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You love a good hospital trip at events and your Vortex.
Got quality insurance.
Yeah. All right, next question. Where is someone asked why the prize pool so dead? It isn't. I mean, I'm surprised they even announced the prize pool this year. It doesn't matter as much with the players playing, with big contracts. It's not about the
true.
It's not about the prize pool as much this year. I'm surprised they even mentioned it. Genuinely.
It's like it's what I kind of expect.
The money's in the contracts.
People are like, "Oh, where's all the money gone from the franchise spots?" Like, it's
to the fucking.
It was never gonna, yeah, like
it's for the next fucking 10 years. It's not just spunk now.
Pump that prize pool into the Amazon.
Yeah, he has 300 million on spots. Let's put 300 million in the prize pool, so we have no money to fund the next 10 years. People just don't look at the bigger picture.
Imagine if it was like, yeah, we're just doing a $250 million this year. Just winning a
people expect
10 million a player.
Do a fortnight.
It would get the viewers, to be fair, because they're be like, holy shit, how much are these lot paying for?
Yeah, and then next year we're like, oh, there's only fucking 5 million in the prize pool. What's going on?
They said to Maven, we're cutting your pay by 3/4. You'll only be on 300 grand a year.
We really wish it wasn't true.
Let's have a look. Favorite moment pre-CWL, post-CWL? Jesus. Well, post-CWL is now, so nothing. Pre-CWL? I don't know. I think the back. It's for us. It's the old school European events, and I wouldn't even surprise me if that was the same with these guys.
What was the question?
Favorite moment pre-CWL? The post-CWL doesn't count because it's now.
But when was CWL started?
Post-CWL, he means like all the CWL events, doesn't he?
Oh, does he? I suppose.
So it'd still be the same one for me, anyways. The CoD XP, and then the one before that. I didn't really go to that many good events. That was my first American event, so
it's true.
Hard to say. Probably like a no-break event, just getting smashed or something.
I still have this thing about. I really wish. Imagine taking the current pros now and making them go to the Norbrick. I don't even want to see it. I just want to watch Twitter.
On the EGL Twitch, I will not have any bad words said about the Norbrick Castle.
Scump made a hotel, the Miami hotel, refurbished a hotel. Delete their Twitter.
Could you imagine if he's seen the Norbrick? Could you imagine some of the pros now?
Has seen the Norbrick.
Well, obviously back then it's just like
he didn't have 2 million subs or whatever. Well, he actually probably did, didn't he? He wasn't on a
kind of an expected thing, and there's nothing he could fucking do about it. Then Norbeck went fucking refurbishing.
They still haven't refurbished, as far as I know.
They might knock it down, but they ain't refurbishing.
The scaffolding that they just put outside there, don't they? To make you think that they're changing it up, but it's just there for 10 years.
Do you know what the best thing would be?
Yeah.
Do you know what the best thing would be, apart from watching the meltdown of pros on Twitter? Would be pros trying to rebook to another place in Blackpool and realising that everywhere's like a tiny B&B and they're all bad. Everywhere's bad. They just book you to this tiny B&B again. Like,
I think there might be more than one decent hotel on that strip, like a mile or two down the strip.
Yeah, it's right down the big one.
Yeah, I remember.
It looks flashy.
Yeah, looks flashy. Probably go inside to the shithole.
Norbrecht doesn't look too bad
Jesus.
from the outside,
But
but
fun
When you
fact.
enter in the rooms.
compared to the inside,
The
If you d-
Norbert was
and you-
quite expensive as well. All right.
Hey,
hey,
it's
that
not
red
cheap.
carpet, man, nostalgic.
Did you know I think this is a thing every European knows. Did you know that the Norbrecht was built backwards?
Fucking hell,
What
no.
do you
it
mean?
didn't- Makes a lot of
Uh,
sense.
No, genuinely. If you remember looking at the Norbrecht, the whole hotel was built the wrong way round on the architect's plans. That's why you get sea view rooms that look out into the middle of Blackpool, and rooms with no views that look out over the sea. And if you go look at the front of it, and if you remember how the back was, you remember that big long hallway that goes out the back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be the entrance. The whole hotel is the wrong way round when it was built.
That actually makes so much sense because that's where there was a few piss-ups on that big long corridor.
I remember chairs being thrown.
Whole hotel is the wrong way round. If you can believe it.
Like, I was in the windowless room with 6 other people with carbines in the bed.
That was
Oh,
it.
Liam Carbides.
No, the first time I met Mike Revolt.
Oh my
was
God.
him in, when he was with Broken.
Oh,
And they were I
that
took
was
a picture.
so
Oh.
funny. That was
you know, he used to
Oh.
piss off so much. Swan, he used to be the most annoying cunt ever, and he'd be sitting there just pissing off Swan, asking for Swan for a follow on Twitter, and Swan would be fuming. Fucking Mike Revolt, man.
Oh my.
Jesus. All right, let's move on to the next question. Who is the best coach in the league? I think there's no
Groups,
metrics.
though. You can't
Yeah.
There's groups of coaches now.
Yeah, but I also think that at the moment we can't tell.
Yeah.
If you were to base it off last year, you would say Crowd. Or Facendo, obviously.
yeah.
You would base it
But
off last year.
Can't
But
Who do I
disagree.
think will be the best coach, though? I generally think Joe will be one of the best coaches, even not the
I
best.
think Joe's going to be really good.
Like, so it's just that player, and he'll be able to get what he's trying to say across to the players as well, because they're going to listen to him, because he's just smart. I generally
Especially the
think he'll be
players
one of
he's
the best.
got. Of course, they all like him. Like they all know him, so they're always gonna be easier for him as a coach with that team. Even
But yeah,
easier.
going last year, you have to go replays, but at the same
He
time,
plays a Facendo, 100%.
I suppose you say when you get given that kind of them kind of players, it's fucking workable. Like it's going to be kind of.
Thing
an
is,
easy
with
job, but
the difference with Crowder is though, you know there was coaching there because 100 Thieves after they qualified
No,
were
but it's a
like in
completely
a
different
bad
team.
spot. It was
yeah, but it's
just
a different
Brice
team.
though,
though.
innit?
One player could literally before we know who did they have a coach before that? No,
Nope.
they didn't, did they? They could have still done that same thing once they'd picked up. Who did they pick up again?
They could have done, but
Priester.
I mean, it
Priest,
could have just,
mate, Priest fucking changed the team completely.
yeah, I know. It could have just been Gasto, but like apparently, like Crowder was really good. Like
Oh, he's
but
always,
when
yeah.
you know the videos that they've done, like 100 Thieves, the content.
Yeah.
Like one of them I watched, it was like Slasher shouts at them a lot, and like he can like actually like explain to them what he's trying to say, if you know what I mean, which saved them a lot of time, like arguing back and forth.
Oh no, yeah. It's always going to be beneficial, but I don't know if he helped as much as like
Everyone
people thinking like,
thinks,
oh, he changed the team completely. Like, no, Priest had changed that team completely, being fucking one of the best players
It's
in the
hard
game.
to say. It's hard to say with United as well because they literally have a Simp and a BZ,
Yeah.
and when Facento joined is when the hits cancel came in.
I think he helped a lot. Like, I generally do
Could've
think
done.
because like they was always really good, and
But
then
the hits cancel, bro, with a BZ and Simp.
I mean they was all like that, always like that anyway.
I know,
They've
but
done the
like, even
same
more
thing.
so because the Maddoxes were
I
more
think
better than.
Facento helped a shitload with them.
When
Like,
did he even join? What event? Was it after London? It must have been
No,
after London.
he was there in London. He was definitely there.
I think
Yeah,
that's his
they
first
got
event.
they got top 16 that event.
Yeah, I think it was like he helps so much because he's like kind of for Joe. Like I think he's like super smart. Like he's always played,
They came
never been
second in
amazing. Did they?
Oh
he
yeah,
came
shit.
second
It
in
was the
London.
event of Fort Worth won it before they got Simp. Yeah.
I think it was out of the 3 or 4 events the coaches did. But either way,
I think
it's hard to
Facento's
say
really
right now. It's hard to say.
Fair enough. Let's move on because I think it's very subjective at the moment. Last question: how did you find out about Call of Duty esports?
good.
Game battles.
Yeah,
Game battles.
Game battles leading me onto the DeSoto leading me to ECL.
Exactly like that.
Mine was actually slightly backward. I think Game Battles actually put me off esports. I think DeSoto saved it, and I can't remember how it.
Actually, like I did. It's the same as you, really. I did Game Battles first, but then it put me off, and then Black Ops 2 League Play came out, and I guess that got me into it. And then I knew Game Battles was there because I'd played it the year before, and then I got back into it through that. But
because I remember playing like one. I think I played 1 or 2 GBs.
Got smoked and raged.
No, I ended up playing Swan and Shane in a COD 4 GB way back in the day, and we almost had it if I hadn't got stung by my own teammate, but that's another story. But I remember thinking I really disliked the whole load of it, and then we found Deserto, and back then Deserto was like an elitist thing in terms of like fuck people who play GBs. We play Deserto scrims, and I just got into it through there, and I just kept going on the Deserto forums, and I never went back to GBs until like Modern Warfare 3, and that was only to play with like the TCM guys on American servers. But it was very much Deserto, and then I think iSeries was the first time I actually went to do casting anyway when I wasn't playing anymore, because playing for me anyway wasn't never that serious. I just enjoyed the intensity of competitive and getting drunk.
Can we talk about
that
how
was
Tunn
essentially
lost the record for the most negative KD?
Oh, I think we should skip this topic. I don't think we should talk about that. There's a reason I'm a caster, all right?
Yeah. Negative 104.
I actually had a couple of alright events after that as well.
Never lost that nickname, though, have you? Anyway, that's going to be the end of Spitfire for now. A little bit of a different episode. Like I said, we wanted a bit of a walk down memory lane. But last thoughts from our guests. Beastball, anything to add?
Oh, really? Just hope, can't wait for the season to get started. Whether that may be warming a bench or fucking being an amateur fully again.
I suppose though the thing is that even if people are on benches, you're still going to be able to compete in the amateur league.
Yeah, the thing is that I thought about this the other day, like, and it got mentioned to me. I didn't think about it. A lot of franchises aren't going to let their players play with other franchises' subs because it makes no sense. You got to think about it. Like, you're not going to want to make other people's players' subs better. So, like, that's going to be interesting how that works for a lot of franchises.
I think that means though that say if teams don't have full subs, like as Ross, like 5 max, that NA players are going to have to fill them spots like in a team with them, because it makes no sense like to move a player in a player over.
That's definitely how it's going to work.
It's pretty shit for EU, innit?
Not really. What is it?
Because they won't get any chance, even if they would have got a team like Nick and Connor don't get picked up, like and you might, and you won't get on a good team, like a good AM team, because you can't move to America. You haven't got an order back in. You're going to scrim from Europe.
After? That's what we've done last year as well.
No, I mean like, because it won't be an all EU team. The subs aren't all EU.
Still will be able to be an all EU, won't it? There was still players.
I don't know. Doesn't every team have a mix of EU and NA players as subs?
No.
I don't think
mostly NA.
Yeah.
I'm very confused.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think we'll have to find out. I think we'll have to find out exactly how that goes down during the season. I think that's a very big topic, but we'll see. We still don't know a lot of how the schedule's going to work out and stuff. And there are going to be open events. We'll find out. I'm sure it'll be coming out. There's probably a massive handbook about to slam into the Twitter sphere at some point, and we'll be poring over it. As soon as somebody leaks it to us. Vortex, anything from you?
Nah, just can't wait for the season to start, like Josh said, and I want to find out more about the amateur side of it. That's pretty much what I'm really excited to find out. But yeah, other than that, I've enjoyed being on the show for the first time.
Love that. Tunn, anything from you?
Nothing in particular from me. As said, if anybody doesn't know, we are actually on podcast services now. So we're on Spotify, Apple Music, and Google. My mic, we'll get there. We'll get there in the end.
Just use your Astro mic, mate.
No, it sounds horrible. It sounds horrid. I'm going to have a complete reset and sort it all out completely. But yeah, it'll obviously be on YouTube. If you missed any of this, post it out on social media. And if you are somebody who wants to come and talk about your COD history, don't be like Spaceman and DM me saying he wants to come on. What the fuck's he got to talk about? He's only been in about 3 events. So if you got like some decent history, come talk to me. We'll talk about it. It's all right.
Dylan Daly back on, man.
Oh no, I've asked my cat the past few weeks and he's been busy. But I said anybody in there who's been around for a long time, come talk to me. We'll
get Shane on.
Yeah, God, yeah, we could get.
I
Shane
don't
on
think
and
I
go,
don't think Shane is in his professional capacity can talk about Shane's stories, which is the issue. But we can get people like Mad Cat, maybe. And thing is, I think some of our regulars like Mad Cat and Reddy can come on and do it.
Yeah. But if you hear this, hit my line. We'll talk to you. Anybody who wants to come on, do with it. We'll get amongst it.
And from me, a couple of things. One, obviously, the Spitfire and other podcast things will be in the description of the YouTube video.
Yes,
so
they
if you're
will.
watching this on YouTube, you can make sure and just click there if you want to watch the whole thing. Although if you've got to this point of the VOD, you watch the whole thing anyway. But it'll be in there, won't it, Brice Tunn?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can check it out and stuff, and we'll tweet out the links to it. Other than that, I do want to say of our guest this week, thank you for coming on. But also, if you are a franchise and you are watching this, I can say with 100% confidence, I think you should take a punt on these two for a sub spot. I know they're not currently signed, and I know I'm not just gassing them because they're here, but I actually do believe that both of these do have something to offer a franchise.
Some gas, man, finally.
So, and if any of you, and I doubt that a franchise will watch this, and I don't usually do this for guests, right? But I genuinely believe you two deserve a spot this year, and I think you can both do work in that and work your way back in. And I've said this before when you weren't on the show, and I've said this to people myself. So thank you two for coming in. I really hope somebody signs you because they should be signed. People watching, and I think you're a better GM if you do sign them up in the end. But again, this has been Spitfire. If you are watching the YouTube, leave a comment down below. We do like watching, including the guy that said last week that he actually believed I was in a gym. This week I'm on a plane. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.